This summer I had the opportunity to go to Woodlands, but I did extreme, which just to sum it up is we sleep in the woods and we only have a sink. So that was fun because I'm obviously not an extreme kind of person. So it was definitely a learning experience. Through doing that, I really learned to get out of my comfort zone because I tend to just get in like what I like to do and I have a routine. I'm really scheduled all the time. And through that, God really showed me that I need to become uncomfortable because I need to be intentional in showing others Christ.
At Woodlands, God taught me a lot of things. First of all, He taught me about just the importance of getting in His Word every single day. I also learned a lot about what it means to not worry. Going into my senior year, it was so easy to stress over what college to go to, what to major in, what to do with the rest of my life. And God just showed me that if I trust in Him and I depend on Him for everything and I'm always focused on Him, He will show me the path that He has for me. And I don't have to depend on myself. I can depend on Him to take me where I need to go.
Before my grandfather died, I saw so much love and excitement for Jesus that I never saw in myself. And this year at Woodlands, I saw that I'm able to have that same love and excitement that I never had before in my life, and that I'm able to share it to other people.
Being the youngest staff member, also LAT, it helped me realize that age really isn't that big of a difference when you're setting an example for everybody. We learned the Bible verse at Hickory Cove, which was, "Don't let anyone look down on you because you are young, but set an example for the believers, speech, conduct, love, faith, and purity." And that was huge for me because I was anxious about being young, going to high school. Now I know that I can just set an example, don't have to worry about it as much.
First day there, we had to clean up the mess hall after supper. And once we had done that, somebody came in and inspected it, and they saw how we had swept it. And they said we had not swept it properly, and so she went on to give us a sweeping tutorial. And it was kind of funny, and we all ignored it. And then a few days later, I heard her talking when I was cleaning up outside about how bad of a job we had done and how that should not have happened. And so it kind of upset me, and so I kind of tried to stay away from her for the rest of the week until Friday when we were cleaning up the gym after the final event, and we were doing everything right, and she was like, "You are one of my best workers." And I realized that I had jumped to conclusions and judged her before I actually knew what she was like. And I realized that earlier that summer I had heard a verse that talked about how love holds no records of wrong and how we are supposed to love others even if we don't feel love from them.
At Snowbird, God really kind of used that week to bring me back to Him. One of the biggest issues was just getting caught up in everything else that this life has to offer. And one thing that they talked about at Snowbird, they used this analogy where it was like this really, really long rope, and we're supposed to imagine that it was infinite. At one end, He had a really small section, maybe this big, taped off, and He was like, "This is like our life on earth, and it's so small, it's so temporary, it's just a little blip on the timeline, and this is the rest of eternity, and the rest of eternity, we're gonna be worshiping God, forever and ever." And we get so wrapped up in this little section and this little small part of life. It's so easy to think that that's what's so important, and that is what you're doing in life. And God just really brought me out of that and was showing me that this is only temporary, like this doesn't really, what you do for me on this earth is what matters, but everything else, like, it's important to some extent, obviously, because we are on this earth for, a decent amount of time, but in terms of eternity, like, it really doesn't matter.
This year specifically, it was just coming to a realization I'd been living kind of my own life apart from God, making my own decisions. And it was just a moment of God pursuing me and waking me up and making me realize that I can't live without Him, and that there was just no version of that was going to end well. I wasn't finding any real happiness within that lifestyle. And it was just this moment of asking for forgiveness and just realizing that I can't live this life without Him.
At my week during Snowbird, he taught me that my sins actually do have an impact on my life. It's not just some paper-thin thing that's laced over your life. It's something that sits on your chest. It's something that's actually there that impacts the way that you think, the way that you act towards certain people. He showed me that I need to get rid of that. Like, previously, I just thought that He wiped it off, just swatted it away, and that was it. But if I keep on diving into it, then I'm picking up the chains that He's throwing off of me. He just taught me that I need to let go and just keep them off of me.
Before Snowbird, I was kind of going through a dry season with my relationship with the Lord. And on the outside, I was saying, like, I don't really know why this is happening, but I did, and I think I just needed somebody to hit me with that reality of what was really going on. One of the nights that we were there, one of the women was talking to all the girls, and she was saying, so often we come to the Lord and we say, like, Lord, take it all, use me, take it all. But then there are those certain things that we won't give up. And for me, I mean, there was so much that I was holding on to, my family, my hurts from the past, my insecurities, what people thought of me. There was so much that I was not willing to give up to the Lord. And so when I let really just Christ's love sink in and let that reality become true to me, that's kind of when it changed everything, because Jesus died for the worst thing that I ever did, and He wants every single piece of me. He doesn't want like the cleaned up version of me that I present to Him. He wants everything, because He's a God who redeems and He saves. Living in that truth, I think, just changes everything.